Like we just find it fun and
Yeah. It's a good outlet, probably.
Great outlet.
yeah. Like we started with just us. Like just basically he interviewed me and then I interviewed him. And I'm like, well, we'll just kind of go from there. And then it was funny you brought up that point, like, like some pretty interesting people. But then it's like you might get surprised. Like one of the guys that it was a friend of Ben's.
Yeah.
That like the average person has no idea who he is probably. He has a tattoo book in the Library of Congress. He was in the Secret Service, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
You were?
No, a friend of his. Like this guy, like a guy that like probably not too many, like nobody knows who he is. Not to be disrespectful, but it's just like a guy. Then like you're like, you've had one of the most interesting lives anyone I've ever met. Now you're like a beekeeper and a conservationist. You know? Yeah. Just you never know. Like people have crazy stories.
Everybody's got a story.
Are we recording already?
Yeah, we're recording.
This is how we started. I feel like it's
Everybody's got a story.
the B-roll of
That is the best kind.
yeah. Well, it's just to be authentic and whatever.
Yeah.
So we kind of introduce it sometimes. So it's a Save None podcast. I don't know if you and Ben talked about that.
Yes. What size shirt are you?
XL.
All right, cool.
Is that what you guessed?
Look at it. Oh,
that's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna put it on.
Oh, sweet.
Very cool. Thank you.
Oh, and this is this brand is very comfortable.
Yeah.
Is that for, what is it called?
The next level.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's kind of how it started. It's like Ben and I were talking about the podcast, and he's like talking about a potential apparel line, and he's like, I have this name for it. And I was like, that's pretty cool. We should do that. Yeah. And so kind of introing that way with like Save None and what it means is like, for us, it's just a no stone unturned. Like go all in, like whatever it takes to do something, and we'll obviously go into. But with your background, that's probably something that's really prevalent in your life in a multitude of ways. Like so just kind of background about the Save None. So we should introduce. This is Mr. Brett Carroll. Yeah. So we know you through a mutual friend. Your wife is a member at my CrossFit gym. Good friend. Yeah, she's hilarious. Today at the 8:30 class, there was 16 women and Ben. Now we're in class. He was like hiding over in the corner.
Yep, pretty much.
And that's like that pretty often.
Did she at all complain about what the workout was at all? I know she says she gives you guys a she usually
I didn't hear her complain because
maybe not complain. It's because it's obvious you may see this. So
the crew was all there because like Ellie was there and Carol was there and Shannon and Jen. Like there's like this group, and when they're all together, like there's almost no time for complaints about what they're doing because they're kind of in their own space. That's just
complaining about you.
I bet.
No.
That's okay. Well, that's her outlet. She loves it there. Like
and we're gonna touch on that one point later on.
Okay.
So Brett, you are a father, a husband, a man of faith, a business owner, entrepreneur, and a former Major League Baseball player. Mm-hmm. So that right off the bat is kind of a lot. It's a pretty cool story. We did promise Heather that out of the gate we would talk about the most important thing, which was her. And ask what it was like for you to get to be married to her.
Yes. We got stories.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if Heather will watch this, but I know her friends will. Heather watches all the podcasts.
Yes.
And then so the other kind of like tongue-in-cheek question was just in kind of doing some research, finding out more about you. Obviously, I had a rough idea, but wanted to, educate myself a little more. Is what would you consider more intimidating? Standing at the plate, staring down Randy Johnson, or Heather coming home mad and you had
Heather come down mad? It's not even a question. I mean, Randy Johnson was like 7 feet tall. Then my wife is 5'2", 5'3", and I don't want to upset her.
She just spitfire.
Yeah,
she has a lot of energy.
She does.
I like it. Ben and I were actually talking about that before we started because it's like that's a group of it's women more often than not in that class, and they work really hard when it's like time to go. But a lot of the rest of the class is me repeating myself and not really paying a ton of attention.
Yeah. I can see that.
Herding cats.
I can see that.
But they're all.
That was when we first met. That was one of the biggest things that attracted me with her was, she's independent. She's strong. She's a strong personality in ways that I was at that stage of my life. It was real attractive because of she was like, what you see is what you get, and I can appreciate that. And so, her personality things I know now for a while in the best of ways. So
it's interesting because she and I have talked about that like she and I are probably wired a little similarly, and so are you and my wife. And just we have some kind of interest at like stories about stuff and some similarities that like we love you both.
Yeah.
It's just, those people always marry each other. I
think-
that's how we like. That's what I said. Like certain like you can't be too much the same because then it doesn't work and whatever.
Yeah, it kind of balances each other out.
Yeah, for sure. So into like I guess background. You were born and raised here in Knoxville.
Was.
I went to Bearden High School, and so what I kind of gathered, you've always been into sports, into playing different things. Like you played basketball in high school as well. Like, how old was that? How old were you when you started? Like when you just kind of got into being in sports?
Well, I mean, growing up in the 80s, if you will, our neighborhood was a neighborhood pool. You talk about ghosts in the graveyard, hide and go seek, wiffle ball in the backyard, tennis, whatever season it was in, we were playing. And then, my dad come out and he had this certain whistle. We'd be 2 or 3 blocks over. He'd, stick his fingers, not can't do it. And you could hear it loudly. And I was like, oh, hey guys, gotta go home. Like just a different time you live in. I mean, so that's what kind of generated probably my just natural affection towards sports. And then obviously seeing it on TV. I mean, I was a kid that anything was, whatever was on TV, I would want to go out in the yard and implement. And I mean, I remember my dad got a football helmet he used to be he spent a lot of his career as an athletic director. And Bearden High School is which I graduated at the time he was at. They were giving away football helmets. And I remember having the fake NFL plastic ones that you'd wear. So he brought the real one home. I was like, this is legit. And so, I mean, I'd love to imagine, I'd toss it to myself, with the helmet on. I'm not trying to do it, but I just knew from early on, I just love sports. My mom, she was sitting here today, whether this is just a story that gets beefed up for a podcast, I don't know, but I think it's legit. She said that one of the first 2 words out of my mouth was ball. Like I just loved. So that makes it sound great. Obviously, you have to plan for a long time and make the major leagues. Like you're like, oh, of course. Like that's what she claims. I mean, my mom's not a liar, but I mean that's what she said. So
Have you ever figured out what it was about the ball? Is it?
Well, I can tell you this. I think there's certain types, certain people, and we've all got a story in our life that I think one of my first youth coaches I had, marked me in a way that he believed in me. And we played Little League Baseball. We was playing just rec baseball. And to this day, he's still kind of a mentor, father figure to me. And he's a tennis pro. And his son played. We were best friends, neighborhood best friends. And he coached me when I first started playing at 4 years old. And it was like, or eventually, first couple of years I signed up in rec league, and then he eventually took over coaching. I remember when he took over and he just said, hey, I want to be your agent one day. And I thought, what's an agent? And he said, well, you guys are going to play in the major leagues. And I just remember, that marked me away, because I thought, here's a male figure that sees something that he believes. And whether he would joke today to say, man, I shouldn't have put that expectation. But for me as a kid, I thought, man, that's, wow, I don't even know what that means. I just wanted to play for the Atlanta Braves. And he was like, you're going to do it. And so I was just, so that kind of marked me early. I think that part of the trajectory of that, but
It's weird.
Loved watching UT football. Just any sports were on. I
try to explain that to my kids now. So my 2 oldest are girls, and they're swimmers, but they're not really into, like, my older one's getting into football now because she's in high school and she has a boy that she likes that's on the team. But like that's what that's all I did was watch sports.
Yeah.
Like whatever. I'm originally from Massachusetts, so we have 4 major sport teams. So literally year round, there was something on TV on the local whatever channel. Didn't even have to have cable that you could just watch. So I just watched it. Yeah. If it was the Celtics were playing, I had a Fisher-Price hoop and I was chucking a little whatever ball in it. And it was just, that's all I ever did as a kid. And I don't know how prevalent that is now because my son is only 8. And he's kind of not, into that too much yet. So I don't know if that's just changed with like social media and streaming and all that stuff. But that was like most of the kids I knew, like that was just it. Like there was 162 Red Sox games on the TV in most houses where I grew up. You know what I mean? Absolutely. It was just always on, and that's all I paid attention to was sport. So
well, and I think that's some of the stuff we do here. It's like I think, in my opinion, I think when there's so many different distractions and things pulling a kid, like, or maybe they just see the quick highlight reel, but like most don't spend time actually watching a game. Well, whatever that game that may be, they just don't watch it. It's because it's just, I think it's just quick, move on, attention span. And I think you listen to the beauty of actual enjoying the sport as it is. But, yeah, we just obviously when I was growing up, there's just less.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure everyone, there was distractions, but at the time, I don't really remember. Yeah, I mean, dial TV. Yeah, like VCR. I mean, just like
Right.
yeah.
I have a friend whose son was playing baseball, and he wasn't the best, you know.
Yeah.
And we'd always ask him, like, dude, why aren't you practicing, you know? And he thought he was the best player on the team already because the coaches, he's the only one that the coaches come and say, hey, good job, good job. But it was more, he was actually kind of the worst.
Yeah.
But they're trying to encourage him.
Yeah.
But like kids these days, like see that, they don't see that as constructive. They just see it as like, so that's got to be a hard.
Well, I had the same conversation with my daughter. I mean, my oldest is 11, and I mean, we want to support her in whatever she wants to do, and she's expressed interest in basketball, and she did this little hybrid basketball at the end of last spring, and she was the youngest on the team, and she's probably the shortest, and didn't play a ton, and doesn't really practice. And like, I literally was putting her to bed one night and said, well, hey, so why don't you go out and shoot some hoops tomorrow? So when I get home, I'll be around if you want me to. And she's like, I said, don't you think you're afraid? She's like, I don't know. I said, why do you think that? She goes, I'm already pretty good. I'm like, and I literally, like, bad dad moment, I literally go, you really think that? Like, I was like, because I mean, you're not going to pull any punches. I mean, it's like, and I love her to death, but like, it's not going to work if you don't have a genuine, I mean, that's what I loved. I would stand out there until my legs got sunburned as a kid and just shooting. And so it's just, yeah. So
No,
to your point, Ben, I think there is sometimes a little bit of a, it's certainly encouragement goes a long way in belief, but like the real honest conversation too about where things are.
It's just different. Like I said, like I watch sports all the time. I don't know how many times as a kid I played baseball a little bit growing up into high school, and like I would just go outside with my friend and we'd just throw a ball.
Yeah.
And I talked to my son about that. Like I'll just randomly throw something. He's like, Dad, you can throw pretty good. I'm like, yeah, not really. And the real scope of, I'm like, buddy, you know how many times I've thrown a baseball?
Yeah.
Like 10,000, 100. I have no idea. Thousands and thousands of times. Okay. So it's like, I don't know if kids, unless they're in that sport specifically, like I did it just because that's what we did to like pass time. And that was actually going to be part of kind of the next question is I know you also played basketball. Is your take on that with youth athletics? And now, I mean, you're 7 years old and you're playing year-round baseball, and if you're a pitcher, you're just a pitcher. Like, you don't play other positions. Like, I've just seen that. Sure. I did some personal training some years back, and one of my neighbors, he was 14, and he was having elbow problems because every 3 or 4 days or whatever he was allowed for 10 years, he pitched.
Yeah, absolutely.
He couldn't do a push-up, but he was going to play baseball in college. And I was like, that seems like a kind of a hole in your athleticism, young man. And that's what I worked on with him on. And so, like, I'm curious your take on that. With how
I mean, we're a lot of anti what the culture temperature is, I think, and not at all to just like, hey, we're the smartest guys in the room. I just know, I know sometimes what's behind driving all the year-round stuff. If that's from a financial standpoint, I mean, yes, everyone has to make a living and if you're providing valuable things, and there's a charge to cost that. I get that, but the current trajectory where kids are having to specialize early on, not play multiple sports. I mean, you don't have to research long to look at statistics that kids that play, if they desire, play multiple things or not play something year round, it's great for their overall well-being in general, athletically, emotionally, physically. I mean, it just, even from a just biomechanics standpoint, doing something different that's not, I mean, for me as a hitter, I was a right-hand hitter. For me to swing right-handed the whole time is not probably as good as to do some things from the left side or and whatever. That's why I love basketball. I love the change of different pace of sport. So yeah, I mean, we're not trending that well on some things if we're looking at the overall health of kids to do something year round. Because I mean, I always said if major league players take time off, then why shouldn't a youth, especially before you're even developed as a physically? So. Yeah, you hope that us as adults in the room can step in and say, hey, we need to have some boundaries around this and have some for your own protection of that. You want kids, whatever sport they're playing, at the end of the season they're in, if they're bummed that it's over.
right.
That I think what marries part of their excitement is, Dad, Mom, man, I want to play tomorrow. It's like, hey, that's great. Now that's continuing to put the right kindling on the fire, if you will, to grow their passion. That's going to come within. I mean, yeah.
No,
I can tell you, my parents were supportive. I mean, my parents divorced when I was 10, and so my stepdad played baseball. He played at UT. They were just supportive of what I wanted to do. And my mom was definitely one like, hey, if you're going to sign up for something, we're going to do it to the end. at least that season. And if you don't, I mean, I played Pee Wee football. I loved it. And so I say that because didn't feel that type of pressure from them that I needed to go. It was just something that they would even say it just kind of comes within, at least starts out. And I think you can kind of foster that as it goes.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like that's part of my take on it is it's like the average 8-year-old kid is probably not going to come up with a lot of those ideas on their own. So yeah, I do wonder if it's the parents, like probably not putting them in the best position to succeed for exposing them to other things. Like I deal with that with my kids. All 3 of them are swimmers. I make my son go play pickleball with me once or twice a week. I'm like, you need to move laterally. You need to jump. You need to have some sort of based resistance on your body. Like, and he's fine with it because he thinks it's fun. But yeah, I understand that. And I've just followed athletics enough. I mean, you hear those guys that like, they didn't play football till their senior year and then they have a 10-year NFL career. Like, you don't have to start, if you love it and it's your thing, obviously that works too. Sure. But like the more athletic and well-rounded you are, the better overall athlete you're probably going to be.
You only learn so much when you're still eating your boogers too. Yeah. Seriously. Oh, and then think about it.
We said that in multiple podcasts. That's a tagline. When you eat your boogers.
This is the truth though.
I mean, but my kids' brains, I mean, there's a lot of researches from a neuroscience about thing. You're not even fully the brain developed until 22, 23, 24 maybe. I mean, that's somebody's out, man. Most days I feel like I'm still being renewed, but like kids, it's first and foremost is something they enjoy. I mean, we talk about here, like it's got to be something that it doesn't feel like a timeout. If you're going to pursue sports, you're doing sports, and it feels yes. Is some days better than others? Some days practices aren't as fun as yeah, for sure. But as a whole, are they excited about it? Right. Are they enjoying it? And so that you can build off of.
It's probably hard to rewire like a bad coach too.
Man, and that's part of why I think I was led to start this, but I mean, because we do try to put an emphasis in creating an environment, culture where, especially that age appropriate, that they can feel like they can thrive in, that the coach is supportive, but also doesn't mean it's all fluffy daisy rainbows. We're not going to be like, well, hey, we got to play hard, we got to work hard, but. Yeah, 100%, because I've seen it. I mean, I've seen when I first started here, we started with an older team just by the situation that kind of came our way. And I really felt compassion in some of these kids. I could tell that they had already been, I mean, for lack of a better word, essentially kind of traumatized in some of the coaching. Fear, I was so afraid to make a mistake. Just that fear of failure, which could be a healthy thing with driven the right way, but it's just sad to me because I'm like, man, like the coach I was telling about earlier that believed in me, like he was tough, but not in a way that I fear. It was like he made it so fun. I mean,
it's funny you'll say that the parallels because so I obviously a different type of thing, but CrossFit. I'm coaching people they're adults, and the same thing. Like when we first took over the gym, I said that to our existing coaching staff. I said this needs to be fun.
Yeah.
These are grown adults that have jobs and families and stress and bills to pay. And we're asking them at 5:30 in the morning to potentially run in the rain and do burpees. Like that is sounds like prison punishment. Yeah. This needs to be fun. Yeah. Because if we make it a fun environment where people are laughing and joking and it's enjoyable, they're more likely to show up. So then the end result will be better. Because if they're miserable, so they barely show up, they're going to get very little out of this. Where if they like it, even if that means it's a little bit easier sometimes, if they're having fun, they're going to show up 4 or 5 days a week. In a year, they're going to accomplish more.
100%. Well, I mean, I did tell you, you created that as a living testament to my wife, because she says that's like a fun, it's like her own little community that she really enjoys, the outlet outside of motherhood and keeping track of me and all kinds of stuff that's not as fun parts of life that, so that's a fun, I think I heard this recently. I mean, and it's no doubt that, and you're not necessarily talking about performance in this, but I mean, there is, when you go to work out, you have certain goals you want to probably hit, like enjoyment drives a lot of that. I mean, delight drives discipline. Yep. In a ways, like because you enjoy it, you want to be disciplined in to see different results.
You're willing to show up. You're willing to potentially make the changes outside of that time inside those walls where you're like, well, I wanted to get better at this thing. Maybe I need to eat a little bit different, or maybe I shouldn't stay up as late, or 2 glasses of wine.
Or eat your boogers.
Yeah, like boogers. So multi-sport athlete in high school, and at what point did you know you were going to play college baseball? Like, was it like right? I mean, obviously you had that belief from age 4, but like,
everyone. I mean, sports is always a part of. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like most kids, like I just playing sports, even growing up, like all kids, they think there's a point in their life where they think they're going to be a professional athlete if they have a love for it. But obviously you were kind of more on that trajectory than most. Like at what point in even high school did you know, like, there's more for me out there? Like,
yeah, I mean, I loved, like I said, I loved playing basketball just because of the different competition, the different fast pace than baseball. I think as I was kind of going through some of the dynamics of my high school team, the decision kind of got made for me on a way. It started to become less. And again, high school sport, it's not all going to be enjoyable, but you're competing for your team. But I just meant there were some things that it was wearing me down that really kind of made my decision to go. I started to get better at baseball, and I was always divided on that time. And so after my junior year, going in my senior year, it felt pretty clear about I'm going to give this up now, and I'm going to go all in on baseball. And so outside of that, I remember, well, I can tell you this. I remember at our high school banquet, our basketball banquet, I was looking forward to the awards night because there was one or two awards that, from a team standpoint, I felt like I contributed at, and unfortunately it didn't go my way. And so I remember leaving there pretty bummed and disappointed. I drove to the high school and I flashed my lights on the stadium or on the field. It just felt really clear. It was like, I'm going all into this. I sense a path here. I do from a 5'10" shooting guard perspective, probably not lasting too long in basketball at the next level, and
could have been my price.
Could have been, yeah. And so yeah, just kind of one of those moments where the lights were literally my headlights of my car flashing on the baseball field, and I remember thinking, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that was like
that was kind of, and I felt at peace with it. I missed playing, but it was like, now I was able to do some things with baseball as far as in the fall that I wasn't able to do because I was playing basketball and things like that ended up paying off.
Was there ever like a moment where that path could have changed?
Well, yeah. I was really close to signing at the University of Tennessee. Obviously, being from here, I remember getting that phone call. That was like a dream of mine to play in the SEC. But I just sensed that, and obviously just kind of seeking some counsel with my family and some people who were in my corner about what the opportunity. I ended up going to Middle Tennessee State, and I just sensed that it was a little bit better path there for what I wanted to. I did want to get drafted. Whether I was going to get to the big leagues or not, that was my goal and dream. But I knew the statistics against me. I remember, like I said, I remember being 4 years old with my dad and driving the car and saying, what do you want to do when you get older? And I said, I want to play for Atlanta Braves, And so but I say that it wasn't like from then on every day was like, it kind of just organically moved my way through life. And
what about like something other than baseball? Like I want to learn how to play bass or
I know. My older brother is more into film and documentaries and things. And so I think there probably been a part where if sports didn't work out, I'd start to see if I can get casted on any of his production stuff later on in life. But
I know times get hard. Like what kept you in?
I loved art. I loved drawing.
Yeah.
I loved that was one of my outlets I really enjoyed doing was actually kind of like cartoon drawing, and
that's cool.
It was just a cool little, whether I was good or not, I don't think so, but I did enjoy. I took art in high school.
Did you logo?
I'm sorry.
Did you draw your logo?
Okay. Well, so they eventually put it on a shirt, they made it better from a graphic design. But yeah, I have it on my phone where I hand drew the logo. They just made it better. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question about.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm like, there's been so many times in my life where I'm like, man, I'm just gonna do this other thing and quit. And I really want to do. And it's like, what kept you going to baseball? When if you obviously had doubts, maybe I'd be like, what was it?
Well, I think anyone doubts, are you good enough? I think that's a core fundamental of, can I really do it? And if I don't do it, and if I fail, then what? And so I think I wouldn't probably fully, didn't think like I know now looking back, but it was more just like, okay, I think I'm pretty decent at this. I know that God had given me a gift in my arm strength. And so my yearbook, I think, you do your, what you want to do next. And it was go to college, play baseball, get to the major leagues. So
you were saying,
well, but that sounds like I had it off. Who knows? But that was all I kind of knew, I guess. I really legitimately, this isn't the best advice to parents and kids, but I didn't have a backup plan in college.
You went all in.
Yeah,
good. I mean, that's literally. I mean, that's the mindset. That's kind of the point of like.
I think if I had a plan B, I'd have then when it gets hard, I think I'd have.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. Like there's times where that makes it. So I'm not at all. This can come across like I had it like completely figured out and everything. I really didn't, but there was definitely a driven.
So basically, you had it completely figured out.
No,
That's what I feel like that's the case in so many instances, regardless of what it is, whether it's a sport or it's starting a business or some type of endeavor, where the way that we're wired, if you give yourself an out, you're going to potentially take it. Yeah. You need to burn the ships and just stay and fight. Yeah. And otherwise, because when it gets hard and you're doubting yourself, you're going to potentially give in. So I mean, I feel like that's a common
but I make it. Well,
but that's a common thread. Like anyone that I've ever spoken to that's had any level of success in anything, they're just like, what do you mean? There's, you know, like anytime you, because I also feel like psychologically, if you have a backup plan, you haven't committed yourself to success.
Yeah.
Like whether you're 90% or whatever the percent is, like I'm pretty committed, but I'm going to go be an accountant if this doesn't work out. Like you're potentially planning on it not working out.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a common thing, especially with athletes. Like there's such a self-belief that's required to be like, you have to think that you're going to be great. Yeah. Like, or, you know, you have to believe in yourself because it's such a competitive thing and it's very psychological. Yeah. Like the performance aspect of it. Like you can go up to the plate with all the physical skills in the world. This is me projecting and imagining because I'm obviously not an athlete. But if you don't believe you're going to hit the ball, you might not. Yeah. But if you're like, I don't care that that's Randy Johnson. I'm going to do what I've done every other time I'm up here. And if he puts a pitch where I can hit it, I'm going to hit it. Yeah. So, and I keep referencing that because your first major league home run was off Randy Johnson. Yeah. Like that's pretty amazing.
Hard. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I vividly remember the All-Star game when he made John Kruk look like a middle school kid. Yeah. And John Kruk was like no slouch of a baseball player.
Great.
And I just remember watching, and I was just a huge baseball fan growing up. So the fact that like you hit a home run off Randy Johnson, that's pretty incredible.
Well, I mean, I'm super thankful. And I mean, he was still Randy Johnson. He wasn't 98, 99, but he was still just long and tall in the mound. He was 92, 93 when I faced him, but his extension was so far.
But was it 66 feet?
Yes. What? Yeah, 60, 90. I mean, yeah, 60 inches. The plate is 60 foot 6 inches.
Okay. So when he reaches, I mean, what is he like? Freaking 45 feet away. Let's go with it.
He gets on you more than you think. But you know, you mentioned because like you talked about something changed. I mean, I hated to give up basketball. I mean, I loved playing, but But I can't remember if this was in high school or college. I want to think that it was in college, but as I started to get kind of acclimated in the college level and started to get a consistent starting job, I remember, do you guys remember that movie Seabiscuit?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know? And the underdog course.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was a moment in that movie that, again, that it's going to sound crazy, but the dad and the parents have to send him away basically to become a jockey.
Yeah.
And I remember the dad looking right at him and going, son, you've got a gift. You got to go. And I remember that hit me to my core. And I was shook. And I was teary-eyed in the movie theater because I thought, that's what I want to do.
Right.
You know, and so I can just look back and certain little nuggets of just...
They maybe seemed...
Gets you going.
Yeah, they maybe seemed insignificant at the time. Yeah. Now when you have the benefit of hindsight, you're like, those...
Yeah, I can look back on
did this way, and you're like...
And you don't know if it's going to fully work out, but I don't think there's zero shame in going for something and not working out and then just having changed course. Like, life's too short. Like, it's completely... although, I think the lie is, what if it doesn't work out? You know, it's like, it may not. So
yeah, but you got to at least try because you have the benefit of like the experience of the whole thing. Yeah. And then also if you 100% commit yourself to anything, like the lessons that you learn, like even if you don't, right, like hypothetically, right, you did all this stuff, you pushed that, you didn't quite make the major leagues, but you did all this other stuff that made you super successful to even be in the conversation. There's values and things that took place there that you could apply in other ways, like coaching job, like, you know what I mean? Like there's just so many opportunities for growth when you commit yourself 100% and give it your all. That's kind of where I was going to go to next with colleges. Like, what is it like? I have a little bit of insight into it with my wife. She was a scholarship athlete for swimming.
Yeah.
And like, what is that like being 20 years old, projected to potentially be a Major League Baseball player and you're like living the college life? Like what kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, my journey's kind of been just kind of one step at a time, because even in college, I mean, I sparingly played. I might have played 50% of the time my freshman year, and then really my sophomore year was kind of like a breakout year. But even to that point, I remember at the end of my sophomore year, I had a solid sophomore season, and my head coach, you do like exit meetings, and I was in a meeting with him, and he said, well, Major League organizations, I mean, or he said, I'm sorry, he goes, well, they're calling. And I was like, my parents or like somebody, like I didn't even thinking. Yeah. And he said, no, he goes, Major League organizations, I mean, you're on the radar. And that was another moment where I'm going, oh man, like it's reachable. Like, yeah. Or at least getting a shot to put the uniform on deep and then work your way through the minor leagues to see if you can get to the...
Right. This is why we're not, like Jerry Maguire was coming out.
Yeah.
I showed him.
Yeah. So then he walked me through like, hey, this is what this process is going to look back, coming back for your junior year. You couldn't get drafted until that year. And so, yeah, that was like another stepping stone but I mean, yeah, college was awesome to learn. First time that my parents had moved in, and I know, my mom drove away. It was like, yeah, I'm on my own. Like we tell our college preference here. I know that moment where you're going, okay, no one's going to come. I mean, not the one I'm telling you that you hypothetically, right? Like, yeah. I mean, my food, I mean, I've got to go feed myself. I got to get to class. I mean, I will say I went to class to stay eligible because I wanted to chase my dream of getting to Major League. So it's like, yeah, did I enjoy school? There's some classes. Yeah. I think it's important. Sure. But it was like, I had to pass to be eligible.
More of a means to an end.
Yeah. I saw that was for me,
well, listen, I don't doubt it. I mean, I tell my kids that now with their, trajectory through, they're still, early high school. And so like, you don't need to go to college to do every job out there. There are some, you want to work in the medical field, or you want to do, you need a college degree. But also at the same time, if continuing your athletic career, and the only way to do that is by going to college, like, not that I don't want you to try in college, but like, if that's why you're doing it, then do it. Like, that's not wrong. Like, absolutely. I want to swim 4 years in college and I have an opportunity to do it. Then go do it.
Yeah.
Like, those are the best years of some people's lives, are those, those are friends my wife still has now. Like, she can call up someone she swam with 25 years ago, and it's like, they can relive stories from freshman swim practice. And I'm like, I never had that. And I've loved sports my whole life. Like, I want my kids to have that experience. Like, I don't care if it's just for whatever. Like, get your degree. Don't waste people's time and money. But just the whole experience of everything, I think, is amazing. I read, I don't know if I read it or if I listened to, because I watched some videos and stuff. I'd actually watched the one where you told that story about the basketball, the award ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
That was a powerful video. Like, it felt like that was like a vulnerable moment for you to like share with the world.
Yeah.
But so how old were you when you were drafted?
So I was 121, because I spent 3 years at Middle Tennessee. Drafted my junior year, yeah. Because I would turn 21 that October of that year, yeah. Okay.
So then what does that look like? Like, so what, because I'm not even familiar with the process. So you said after your junior year, you're drafted. Did you finish your senior year, or did you go?
So once the season ended that spring of my junior year, there's a timeline that the draft is going to happen. And so I was being told I could go from the second round to the fifth round. And unfortunately, the last couple weeks of the conference tournament, I started pressing more and just stunk it up, basically. And I knew I probably affected my draft status because of how I didn't perform in that time period. And so, the day the draft came around, now it's fun. These kids get, it's on the MLB network and they go out. But it was just basically listen on the internet. And I remember knowing that X amount of organizations I had talked to that had called me, some of you asked, say, do you want to switch positions to becoming a catcher? I was like, I haven't caught since Lily, but I'm game. Like, whatever it takes to become a professional baseball player. Yeah. So that day, I probably was a little more defense mechanism. I was like, well, I'm going to go wash my car because I know I'm not going the first round. And I'm probably not going the second round now. So I was like, I'm just completely avoiding this. And so I come back in the house. We had a couple people over. I didn't want to make it a big deal. And so like each round that would go by and each organization I had talked to, and I had been told too through my advisor at the time, hey, you never know, there may be an organization you didn't actually talk to. Where they called you like this and you're having a conversation. they've just done their homework and they'll draft. So, but each time that an organization that I talked to said, they're up next. I think, okay, is this it? And 9 rounds go by and not yet. So then I'm like, okay, I was scheduled to go to play in Alaska for college summer league. And so I'm getting ready to make plans for that. And now the excitement and everything, now it's turned towards, well, screw this. No, I'm going back to school. Like, they don't want me, you know what I mean? Just got in my feels. And eventually heard my name. The Cardinals actually called me right before I heard my name. And they said, hey, we're thinking about drafting you in the 12th round. Will you sign? And I had told basic organizations, if it's not in the top 10 rounds, I'm going to go back. And that was a purpose because of slot value and money and education. I was like, I'm going to go back. I'll just go back and finish my senior year, get my degree, and then we'll see what happens next. So I was actually on the phone with the Cardinals in the other room when I heard my family cheering because they just heard my name from at the time the Marlins drafted me. So yeah, that starts it. Then you have to go through the negotiations where the scout comes over to your house and my mom made dinner and he might have had a couple adult beverages and he based an offer. And then I would sneak in the other room, like, well, hey, hold on a second, let me go. And because I had an advisor at the time who actually knew this scout really, really well. And he would go, well, ask him this. So I come back in like, so my parents were all like, what are you doing? I'm like, been trained. I got this.
Why do you keep going to the back?
Yeah, exactly. So they were completely like forward, like I was kind of handling this whole thing.
Yeah.
And so he'd go out to his car, let me go talk to my representatives and come back. Well, we can do this. And eventually we got to a number that was like, okay, I'm in. And then I ship off to Jamestown, New York, which was a small town. I mean, you're like, do you want to play professional baseball? All right, you're going to live in a house with 6, 7 other guys. Not in great situation. You got a mattress on the floor. There's literally bugs crawling around. It's not in the greatest. It was
Not as glamorous.
it was a home of Lucille Ball, the birthplace of Lucille Ball. Yeah. So yeah, it was. Yeah, you found out quickly. You've taken a 15-hour bus trip to go play. Yeah. Found out real quick. Is this what you really want to do? I loved it. I remember getting the first paycheck in my locker. Coming in from the game, there being a check, and I literally had forgotten. I don't say this like I literally forgot that we got paid, and I was like, I love the volume,
Like, oh my gosh, I actually get
Yeah, it wasn't paid much. It wasn't much, but it was still like I was. We had that initial moment where
you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, like I'm getting a paycheck to come out and play now.
Yeah.
So there wasn't NIL obviously in college, so you got a T-shirt because you belong to the university. That was it. So
Would you have taken the 12th round, you think?
no, I'd have probably bet on myself to come back because I knew what I did to myself the last couple of weeks. But you know what? Like it was supposed to work out that way. Like I could have signed the second round, got X amount of more dollars. Maybe that would have changed. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it
That'd be a hard,
unfolded the way it was supposed to unfold.
that'd be a hard thing to internally negotiate for. Like I feel like, well, we'll take you in the 12th round. No.
Yeah.
Like you just said no to professional baseball.
Yeah.
Like with all the unknown. I mean, that takes
Yeah.
a lot of courage and a lot of belief in yourself to have potentially done that. And glad you didn't have to.
Well, and that's one of those things you asked me now at the moment. That's the thing. If I wouldn't have been drafted, I don't know. I mean, but I don't think that. Yeah, top 10 was kind of my.
Right.
I know when I sold my business, it was valued for way more. Mm-hmm. And it had been like months and months of whining and dining, steaks and laughs. And then they came at me with a number. And then I'm like, I'm like so happy and excited and this and that. So I took, considerably less money. And now I like kicking myself in the.
Yeah.
But I'm like.
But in the moment.
Well, no, we sold our house back in right before COVID. Basically, we started in the market was great. Now I think it was even. Well, yeah, we looked like 6 months later, but it is what it is. We all had just a ball. Yeah.
So what year was that? You were drafted by the Marlins.
That was 2004. I won 2004. So it's crazy. A few years ago. Yeah.
And then when did you? Because I listened and kind of heard there was some kind of back and forth. There was an injury. Was that when you were on the Marlins that you got hurt? You hurt your shoulder?
Yeah. I had spent a lot of my career when I got to AAA, and then when I finally got to the big leagues, I'd kind of go up and down a lot between AAA and the big leagues, and sometimes it had nothing to do with performance or anything. It had to do with our starting pitcher threw too many pitches in a game, and they needed to get another arm up from AAA. So it's all different. I really learned kind of the business side of things that I always thought like, oh, well, if you put up numbers, you do well, then, but certainly it hurt. But there's also the things at play that you just fully can't control it all. So, I was back up after really doing well in AAA and right where I want to be, and ball hit over my head. And at the time in Florida, they played the old Dolphin Stadium, so they would roll out the warning track as it's just rubber, and I was wearing rubber spikes, and so I went back on it pretty aggressively, trying to track it down, and didn't feel the warning track. And
To tell the texture difference is easy.
yeah, and so I remember just hitting that thing like a full-on car wreck. And I look back, I've seen the video since that happened, and all my mindset was, I ain't coming out of this game. And I'm like, I don't even feel I can't feel my arm, but I'm like, yeah, it's been too much. It's gone too much. They come too far. Yeah. And so I'm like, I tell a trainer, I'm like, I ain't coming out. No, you're gonna have to come out. Like, you can't even. And I remember sitting on my back and leaning up and like rolling my arm forward. And now I think, I look at that in the moment of it, because adrenaline, I didn't feel it, but my shoulder was totally separated. So I did have to end up coming out, obviously.
Aren't you glad are you glad that's before TikTok? Because you probably would have become like a TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Would have been a viral video. So it might have been to his benefit.
It wasn't even close. I mean, I had no. Like, in my mind is I'm robbing this home run, and you watch your back, and it was like 10 rows up, and like as soon as I started planting my jump, I hit the wall awkwardly. So
Committed to it though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's sports. Like, you're just committing to whatever, regardless of the sport. Like, you just gotta put your head down. And I mean, it's great. I think that's to a degree what separates high level athletes from a lot of regular people is if you're willing to sacrifice life and limb, or you're going to do whatever it takes. Like, it's that commitment to excellence or commitment to performance. So, I mean, that's pretty common. It's funny. You kind of mentioned like the business side, or the, maybe even political side, so to speak, of sports. Cause I think about that again. I grew up in New England, right? So I watched Drew Bledsoe puncture a low, and then the rise of the greatest football player in history. When you've really ever played, if Bledsoe didn't puncture a lung, like, I wonder how many guys or girls, whatever the sport, like, there are these potential top all-star Hall of Fame athletes. They're just sitting behind the wrong guy.
yeah.
And they never get an opportunity to get on the field, or they're never really get an opportunity to shine. So you don't even see their full potential. Like, there's other things that play. Like you said, like, if I play well and I put up good numbers, I should just play. But, well, this pitcher's this, or that's this, or then we're traveling here and things get jumbled around. So there's I don't want to say luck, but there's more to it than I think just this performance, which is unfortunate and challenging to deal with as an athlete.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of, I grew pretty frustrated on, like I said, when I would get sent down, and I'd say, hey, what do you want me to, what I need to do, what I need to work on, what I need to do better. And there was a point, obviously the first few times you're just like, okay. And then I finally was like, developed some courage to actually ask our manager, front office people who were making decisions, like, tell me what I need to go do. And they would tell me. And at one point, what they told me, I was like, well, I've already done that. And I looked right at them. I mean, I was like, okay, I think I'll be with this organization much longer. And that's to the point where I'm letting it out there. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to shoot my shot. And, but I grew frustrated a little bit because I would go down, and I remember right before my injury, that was it. Right before my injury, I had gone down and was leading all of AAA in almost every category for a month span. And to get called up, typically you put a person right in the lineup because their guts and they're ready to go. Yeah. And I would sit and I'd be like, man, this is frustrating. Like, and I'd sit for a week and then get a start, and so that was kind of my, but I didn't have any control over that, and I learned a lot about myself. I mean, it was aside from baseball, it was some really valuable times in my personal life. But yeah, it was totally frustrating. You're told, right? you do the ABC, you should get D. And this was like, I've done ABC, I'm not getting D.
Yeah.
Then what? And so, he just had just staying in it. And, yeah, I mean, it was a challenging time for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just you stayed focused. You did what you needed to do. I mean, a lot of people at that point, I'm sure that happens to a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
They're not able to keep their head in it. So then they get called up and then they choke and then they go, like you just never get an opportunity to show that you deserve to be up there because of the nature of it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of mental fortitude and a lot of focus.
Yeah.
Were you a particularly superstitious athlete? I feel like that's a very common baseball.
I mean,
Quirky things in batting gloves.
would I sometimes eat the same meal I did the day before because I got a couple hits? Yes. Is that being superstitious? No, I don't know. Yeah, I was. I mean, there were some that literally it was pretty impressive how. I mean, we like to say you had a routine.
Yeah.
I think routines are good. I'd be lying not to think that whatever kind of flow you were in the day before, you kind of look back and go, okay, what? Because I think it's human nature, right? Because the default human nature is going, well, if I can control it,
Right.
and we know it's just that's such a deception, an illusion of human control. Yeah. So I was more routine. I didn't learn that till you go older. I mean, in college, it was just you're flying out to the Krantz, and whenever the game is, okay, I'll be there, and then. But as a professional, I would start to develop some routine and some structure that really kind of helped get me locked in for the game that night.
I feel like in baseball, it was really permanent because like the at bat, like you would just see so much of the guy waiting. Yeah. So I just remember, they'd spin one glove, they'd spin the other glove, they'd do this 3 times, wipe their hands on their pants. It's like it was like the same. Like
and when I would get
they'd adjust they would do the same thing.
Well, no more Garcia Park.
That's literally what I was thinking of, but I didn't want to keep referencing all the Boston guys with the batting gloves. David Ortiz would always spit in his gloves every hand, every time. And it's just, that's what sticks in my head. I just remember, because I watched a ton of baseball. Yeah. And there was just the guy. There was just the guy in the batter's box and whatever little quirky things he was going to do before he was going to stand in the plate.
Yeah, no doubt. I would get in the box and I would step in the box a certain way, right foot, left foot. And then I would take my bat and kind of drag it through home plate and then would point at center field. And that was telling me to stay through the baseball. Like just remind me, like a little cue about, hey, stay through this baseball. So that was kind of a physical way that I would. But I tell our kids here, like, let those steps be like action steps. Like your right foot, as soon as it hits, is let's do this.
Intentional.
Yeah, not, oh my gosh, I hope I don't get it. If I get it, hit, But it's normal, you have doubt. I mean, but like to really make it like apply some action to verbal.
So the second time Randy Johnson saw that, he was like, oh.
He did not care one bit.
He says, I'm just going to chuck this. Was there anybody that you played with? So I looked primarily through the Marlins years because that's a team you were with. The longest. Was there someone, and if you don't want to name names, that was like exceptionally superstitious or did? Because again, to the Boston, I remember like Manny Ramirez, like just crazy things that some of these guys did. Was there someone that you played with that you're like, if he didn't eat macaroni and cheese 2 hours before the game, he couldn't even function? Like,
oh man. That's a great question because I know that I've got some. We had one. I had a teammate. He wasn't necessarily he was with the Marlins. I met him in Marlins minor leagues. We never played together in the big leagues. But this was more. He was OCD to the point where it wasn't healthy. I mean, if I would say like he literally and guys would mess in his locker and he would lose it. So that wasn't necessarily superstitious. That was That was a different thing. But he would. I mean, his locker and everything was immaculate and his batting glove stacked. And everything, but yeah, I mean, do you guys remember a pitcher named Young Kim by chance? He used to throw his bullpens barefoot.
Okay.
I don't know how much that would get him ready for. I don't know if he did it on start days, but like that was something I never really seen before. He would throw.
Did he explain why he did that?
I just think it was just a cultural thing that he grew up in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most guys. It was, if they came in for batting practice, you usually shower, eat something, go pick. I mean, if I had more time to think about that, I could think.
Yeah. Do you see any younger guys starting to pick up on that? Like doing little routines?
Oh, I think if you walk to a clubhouse now and you pick up a lot of great content for podcasts about about certain guys, just different things, certain things they like to eat.
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing, how much it's evolved. I mean, gosh, we're talking, my last year playing was 2014. I mean, with nutrition, and it was definitely, I was well aware of nutrition at the time, but like, that's where you're seeing a lot of guys take care of their bodies more, sleep. I mean, food is medicine. I mean, there was, so I bet there's guys have arm care routines, stretching routines, recovery routines. I mean,
Yeah, it's changed a lot. So it's
Changed
like
a lot.
guys like smoking cigarettes and
yeah,
bullpen,
well,
kind of thing.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I played a guy. Well, wow. Yes, he's a former Yankees player. I played with the Marlins. I mean, between the bats, he'd be down in the tunnel smoking heater. You know, I mean, so, but he raked. So
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, if you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain, and obviously, the more that you focus and hyper focus, take care of your body, and the better you are about things, probably the higher end the potential. But there's a certain point where it's like some people are just built different, and they're gonna do these things that like maybe most other people couldn't get away with, but they can come in and have barely slept, be hungover. I mean, what did Babe Ruth like drink out at the time?
Yeah.
At 700 home runs, like.
well, I mean, I can tell you one of my college teammates. He became a Navy SEAL. It's really cool what he does now. He runs a thing called Stonewall Solutions, where he takes Navy SEAL type training to teams and does this like core development of teamwork and all this stuff. And it's really kind of a cool, unique niche. But I was standing on the field one day when he was a pitcher, and you know what they got in baseball terms, the yips, could not throw a strike, and you could just tell mentally and physiologically he could not sync up anymore.
Yeah.
But he was talking about being wired. I mean, he would be a guy that, I mean, he might be up late at night in college, and then my roommate was we would play some video games, and he could come in, you know, kick the door down, play a video game, hold on a second, walk outside, vomited, come back in and go, all right, let's go. You know, you're just like, so the fact that he became a Navy SEAL was not, I just see how he's wired that way, because any threshold of where
Go for
fight, flight, or free. Yeah, and I'm like, I had such a respect and admire when you can go through some of that stuff. Like, so then it goes back kind of like there's certain things I think when people,
They're just wired a little different.
all their environments, things that make it structures.
You mentioned like being aware of like nutrition and things like that. How prevalent was that in your career in terms of like strength and conditioning, nutrition? I mean, I've seen obviously you have the pretty elaborate weight room down here, and obviously it's probably something you promote with your athletes. But how was it when, you know, coming up, and how prevalent was it in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game changer. I mean, in high school, I did your probably typical beach body workouts in regards to just you're hanging with your buddies in high school, and you know, when bench press is so cool, it'd be like, oh, I'm up to this, and but college, there was a structure. I mean, we have a strength coach, and every Friday was 6 a.m. morning workouts. You'd have to go on the football field and run like a 300-yard shuttle or stadiums, you know, just for pain reasons, basically. But when I became professional, yeah, I mean, I definitely invested into, Charlie Patrone here in town, he was my trainer for 10 years. I mean, we had he was great. I mean, as far as I needed to put on size and mass, I still needed to move explosively. So we were big into Olympic lifting, which is kind of anti-baseball, a lot of overhead stuff. I mean, I wasn't a pitcher, but I mean, I trained that way. I would mountain bike. Mountain biking was a big deal that helped me just mentally, because there's a lot of days where you're just like, this stinks.
Yeah.
And just pushing through a little bit, I knew kind of made me mentally tougher in that. I remember one morning when I was first getting into it, didn't know better, ate some oatmeal and did not give enough time for it to digest. And we got out there, like the first mile was just kicking me in the teeth. And it was like, this is hard. And so didn't eat oatmeal again. So you can understand what happened there. But yeah, it was a big deal. I mean, strength and conditioning. I think it's evolved even more now. I mean, just as far as movement. And so big part here, 100%, especially our post-grad program, is putting on size and strength, the right type, because that applies. I mean, energy translates onto the field, and just mentally, more physically, you feel better.
The more robust and the more well-rounded, like to the point of the playing multi-sports. Like, never to the degree that you have, but I've just been around strength and conditioning, fitness, and that was the thing, you know, especially if you're a pitcher, like you shouldn't do these things. And like, obviously I'm biased in the interest in CrossFit, but yeah, you as a baseball player, you probably don't need to be maxing out how much you can snatch and clean your, you know, a couple times a week, but having the capacity and the ability to put yourself in these positions to be strong and stable in all these various planes of movement, that's just going to make you more robust out there on the field and less probably susceptible to injury.
100%.
And, you know, the nature, like the sports, it's so dynamic of a sport and the application of force is so aggressive. Like, any weak link in the chain is going to be exposed.
Yeah.
So like obviously again biased with CrossFit, but I think using those different things, Olympic lifting, kettlebells, like whatever you could do to make your body stronger, it's going to translate into your sport somehow or the other. Like the sport specific stuff.
Yeah.
Like I listen to a lot of podcasts and strength coaches, and they're like, "Well, that's your sport."
Yeah.
Like you don't always just need to throw a medicine ball against the wall. Like you're going to swing a bat, and like there's a place for that, but let's get your back squat stronger. Let's get your ability to, you know, single leg movements and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think some things have certainly evolved as far as being wise about injury precautionary stuff. But like, I mean, I don't know if there's any secret to just moving some weight around in a way that's functionable. And I think that's what benefited me tremendously. I mean, that's why I admire guys who are into CrossFit the way you guys do it, because I told Heather, it's like I can go in there and it doesn't matter what I think mentally. Like you're gonna run laps around me because of the endurance to just to go. It's different for me. Like that. Like if I was gonna go run, I've now grown to love kind of running and walking more just for my own personal stuff. That like, I would have much rather sprint than I would have rather run long distance. You know, or but so one of the things that we did when I played was we would, during my weekly lifts, I would kind of go off a little bit of the organization structure of that, because I understood where they're coming from is kind of keep everybody safe in a way. And I knew my career was not going to, I wasn't going to be able to be the guy that's going to be able to come to spring training on a guaranteed contract at that time where you're going to play a few innings and go do your other stuff and take that. I mean, every day was essentially a tryout, you know? And I remember we would do where it's keep certain percentages throughout the season. So I would much rather lift a back squat of 5 sets of 4 at heavy weight. Yeah. And that helped me at the end of the season, because I would get to those August, September where a lot of times the body's breaking down, and I would, unless it was something I did right into the wall or did something.
I just weren't as physically
I would, and then I would come home and take a month off, and when I started back, it wasn't as big a gap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I don't know, I mean, whether that was
it's just
the time right or wrong, I don't know, but
maintaining more physical readiness. Like I think that's just become more common in professional sports. Like guys are coming into training camps and into their preseason stuff in shape, because I always use like bodybuilding, because that was something I paid a lot of attention to through my life. Like these guys, like they'd get super lean, they'd get on stage, they'd look great, and then they get super fat. Mm-hmm. Well, then you got to lose all that weight again. You've got to get super far back in shape. And so if you just don't let the pendulum swing so far the other way, it's easier to get back into the swing of things or to be at your peak performance. And it's just, training camp probably sucks if you're 20 pounds overweight and haven't worked out in 3 months. So I'm assuming, it's just being more physically ready throughout the year is definitely important. So I think it's important for kids to understand that too. Like, not that they all need to be doing extensive strength and conditioning programs, but like you need to do stuff. You need to move. You need to be strong.
Get outside
it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So not to turn to like a negative thing, but like what was kind of led into the decision to like retire from baseball or to leave it behind?
I don't know if you ever fully prepare for that day, but I felt like I was being prepared for that day, if you will, because Heather and I we had just been married, we had been married for a year. We were living in Indianapolis at the time when I was with the Pirates organization. And the next year we were in Buffalo, and that was when she was pregnant with her first child, Bailey. And I wasn't playing a whole lot. They ended up putting me on what they called the Phantom DL, which it's one of those humbling moments where you're like, man, this is where I'm at. Because I remember being 24 in the big leagues, knowing some guys that were older than me that I had kind of admired. Like now I've seen where their career kind of changed directions. Yeah. And I think, well, man, if that ever happens to me, then it's time to shut it down. So it was like, oh, I'm really walking in you're not the young guy anymore. Right. We got young. I mean, depending on what organization values, I mean, they're going to go for younger guys, and so I could just kind of start to sense the writing on the wall. And we were living in Buffalo at the time. It was, April. It's cold and mostly rain every day. Not playing a whole lot. She's obviously pregnant, and I could sense myself, as much as I didn't want it, but then it became a blessing, kind of being weaned off the dream, if you will. Does that make sense? Like, because one thing I just could not stand not to be able to get out there and compete. Like, I hated watching the games and not being able to contribute in some way. You know what I mean? So that's when I started to see it kind of come, and also too, I could have tried to stick it out another year and go in the independent ball route and just see if I put up numbers and got picked up. But yeah, just kind of started the desires, the passion. It kind of started to change. When I went back to when I would train in the off season, it was not every day was obviously amazing, but like there was an excitement about, I know that I'm enhancing my career or honing my craft. Yeah, I'm
Light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, and so that was just kind of where it was just kind of, and I'm actually thankful for that, because I think if it had just ended completely abruptly, like, I mean, there's the nowadays where, guys do have a good season and all of a sudden the organization's like, hey, we just on spot and they don't get picked, like it's done. So the fact that I could kind of start to go ahead and almost grieve that.
Right.
I had a friend, a mentor of mine, that said, hey, when I did realize, okay, I'm going to start the career transition, I think I'm done. He said, I would encourage you to grieve that. And I was like, well, I've always attached grief with like death, loss, physically. But it really was like, this is all I've known. Like, right. It's going to be, and yes, I'm super grateful now. I'm transitioning to learning how to be a dad and stuff, but it was like, this is all I've known.
Until you identified yourself.
Yeah, 100%. So it kind of was that. That was just kind of the progression of this may be, and I listened to one of my prayers, just that my desires would start to change.
Right.
Then I don't want to feel
shift in priorities. Now, and you're gonna have a family, and so it made it probably easier to I have something else that I can put all this passion and this energy.
Yeah.
Start to shift towards.
Yeah.
Looking back now, what is like your fondest memory of all those years? Like whether it's been, playing in the majors, or maybe it was a time in college or the minors, whatever, just something you're like, that was just incredible. That was as good as it gets. That was as your fondest memory of that time, kind of getting there.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, I think I think Ben, you may have said it, but just you look in the throes of it, you're constantly like, okay, what's next? But then you do step back, and like you're asking me some stories, and like, I bet if I took some time, like there were some cool moments where you're talking to some all-star superstars. I mean, obviously there's people who from other vocations of entertainment come about in the clubhouse. You're like, oh man, I remember Regis Philbin coming, which it was funny because wasn't like he's super famous, but he was a famous person. Like throwing out
a lot of people those were that age.
Yeah, like in that Miami, and but I think in college it was so fun because it was 100% about the team and winning a conference championship, trying to get to Omaha, and those relationships. You're learning who you are. But just your first time away from home, it's which direction you want to take this,
right?
And then getting to pro ball is a whole different experience because you're getting to travel around and see all different. I mean, that was the big part was seeing all these different cities and different people from different backgrounds. The clubhouse of all walks of life. Now, obviously, with professional baseball, you meet your Latin American teammates and their life experience, and it was certainly about trying to win then too, but mainly was player-wise, individually trying to get to the major leagues and then help that organization. So, I mean, I had obviously a few career moments that I can reflect back on, like a walk-off home run. I've been a walk-off hit to win the game on an ESPN night, and I could see kind of how those were lining up. That to get a chance to play, and then or get a chance to pinch hit in that game, and then it kind of came to fruition. And so, but I just think it was more about the clubhouse and the relationships and the people, and because it goes fast. It went fast, it goes, but there's things that 100% glean from or take from, especially still staying in the type of industry, if you will. It's hard to pinpoint one thing.
Just the whole thing. But yes, I mean, the experience and the friends that you made, the relationships, the moments. Like, I mean, ultimately, like, that's what it's all about for all of us. It's like, you know what I mean? It's never, it shouldn't be about the destination. It's always the journey. And at some point, it's all going to come to an end. So it's like looking back, like having all the different things to kind of to pull from and just value. Like, it's awesome. Like, again, I've just always been a sports fan. So that is like, professional athletes are like celebrities. They always have been to me. And so like people that have gotten the opportunity to do that, have earned the opportunity to do that, I just think is amazing. So I mean,
I know that one year that I got hurt when I ran to the outfield wall was so much uncertainty of what the future is going to look like. Because again, I wasn't like, I was a 10th round pick. I mean, depending on the organization, how much they invest in the signing bonus to usually dictate how long of the leash you have, essentially, right? And I remember when that year I got hurt, and I went that fall to the Dominican Republic to play in the winter. It was an incredible experience. So much the fact that when the guy who came to pay me my month's salary at the hotel I was staying at, they put us in a nice resort there, but he literally pulls up, and I'm waiting for him out front, and he goes, "Get in." We'll drive to the back, then butchering the accent, but I'm like, oh man, what's going on? And I'm in Dominican Republic.
Am I being kidnapped?
Yeah. And he pulls around the back, hands me a sack of cash, and goes, count it, make sure it's all there. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't even know how to, I don't count to 100. Like, I don't even know, like, and you're nervous. And I'm like, but I had gotten hit on the wrist. And so I'm like going there to get healthy, prove my worth. Because it's really competitive there in the winter. I mean, it's a whole different experience. Like, it's unbelievable as far as the energy and the atmosphere of just the excitement of baseball. And so I literally the third game in, and I get hit on the wrist, and by 98 off the wrist, and it hit me so hard it broke 2 or 3 bones. Now I'm like, oh shoot, now what? Like, I've now missed the majority of the season, missed the recovery season. Now I'm gonna go into next year about. And that was, I had one of the best springs I've had. It was such a beautiful journey personally of my faith becoming real in that, where it was tangible about there was a trust, there was a firm that, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to put into words and describe that fully, but it was a piece attached to going there in that spring, and so it was that. I think that was a fun year just because of all the adversity,
right,
and the unknown.
Yeah, things that you overcame and persevered through.
Yeah,
it's got to be self-affirming and confidence building. And
because I remember stepping outside my hotel one night, and I couldn't even squeeze a toothpaste bottle because it was so swollen. But they were like, "Well, you stay here for 2 weeks, and we'll see if you can." I'm like, and you weren't really seeing a doctor that. It was a little just interesting. I finally called my agent. Was like, hey, I don't know if this is good. I can't squeeze a toothpaste bottle. I'd love to stay here and play. I'd love to honor my contract the best I can, but I think it's broken. And I think my wrist is broken in 2 spots. And I remember stepping outside. Remember the iPods?
Yeah.
Like when they first came out, right? And I remember it was a beautiful night. I remember, what's that? I can feel it. Not the original Phil Collins. Wait, one is really good. It was one off of, I think it was that one. I remember just like going for a run, and like it just one of those moments where I was like, I'm coming back from this.
Coming back. It's a more aggressive version. I think it's called State of Mind.
Yeah, it was. And
it's like a rock version.
Oh yeah.
It literally just played at the new Mass.
Yeah.
At the gym.
Yeah. So that was definitely a moment where I'm like,
man,
this is not going the way I would want it, but we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So,
when did all of this start to become even like a fledgling of an idea? Like, did you always know that post career you were gonna pursue coaching, or?
No, I think Yeah, I mean, that was again kind of a leap of faith. I mean, I took a couple years to just try to enjoy a whole new way of life. I mean, I had used to been doing this, and now I'm essentially at the time kind of stay-at-home dad. And I had given a camp or two. I'd done a couple camps just to kind of kill some time, give back. And I really probably, in my pride, was like, no chance I'm going to start a baseball facility. Like, that's kind of like an easy transition, what most ex-professional athletes do, right? It's like, but I really, when I did a couple of those camps and clinics, I was like, I think there's a lot that could take place here that could impact. And then this came about. Kent Matthews used to own the building, or own this side of the space, owned their baseball facility, and approached me in the winter of 2015 and said, "Hey, I'm looking to get out of this. Been in it for 20 years. Would you be interested?" And at that time, I had been kind of looking at some places, square footage wise, what the month to month was going to be, and it really just kind of fell in my lap. To be honest with you, it was a blessing. And 2016, I was like, "All right, we're going to do this." So it's been kind of steady growth since then. And I mean, I couldn't be more grateful for people we got here, other coaches that make this what it is. It's not, I mean, I think I've joked then before, like, I kind of shot myself in the foot on one end because when we was trying to decide what to name it, BC was always my nickname. And I was like, well, maybe I call it Grand Slam Athletics or something kind of a little more broad and generic. And even Heather was like, well, that's not really you though. I mean, you want it to be something authentic, right? I was like, yeah, I do. Like, you're from here. Like, why don't you just name it? And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So like, as it's grown, I've been thankful that people don't even realize knows that actual my name and initials, which I feel like maybe you're doing something right, because it's like,
Right.
But at the end of the day too, I know it's my responsibility on to see
I think
how it's going. And
I think because I always say PCA athletics.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, wait, it's just PC
Yeah.
athletics. I'm like, oh, I'm so
yeah, John Reese did that too in the interview he did. It was funny. So yeah, now it's kind of gravitated more towards BCA because I really have always seen it. It's a we type thing.
Yeah.
I never want it to be about me because I just don't. I want others to be part of it.
So give us and our tens of 11s of listeners, tell us a little bit about like what actually happens here. Like, so obviously we know this is a baseball training facility, but give me I'm a, 19-year-old kid looking to play collegiate or pro baseball. Give me I don't want to call it sales pitch, but like the explanation of what takes place here and how this is going to help make people better.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, I think in anything, I know with your CrossFit gym, I mean, you want to provide value. And so for me, it was like, hey, what am I passionate about? In my experience, what do I know the progression that works in this, and not necessarily a quick sales pitch or like a, get rich quick type thing. I'm like talking about business. So I'm talking about like, hey, you want to come major leaguer? Yeah, just right there. It's like microwave.
McGriff.
Yeah. Hit the bucket from the outfield. Tommy Mansky's videos. Yeah.
Yes.
Those are classic. I mean, we've got kids from all over, from ages from 7 or 8 that come in maybe to start instruction. We really tell parents that we really don't feel comfortable probably doing any personal instruction until maybe 7 or 8 years old. And then, we've got teams from our youth that are in travel team, and then obviously do some camps and clinics and things. But our post-grad program is more for guys who've been overlooked or underdeveloped out of high school. Maybe they got an injury. With the way college athletics as a whole has shifted, a lot of high school kids who are good players that just need some more time, that they can partake in the 9-month development program that we still play college competition around here, the junior colleges and the 4-year JV teams. So they're getting college competition and exposure without losing any eligibility. So it's basically like this year never happened.
Right.
So that's just, I think, the real authentic development process of what it takes. And that's not always sexy and fun, but it's the strength and conditioning side. It's the nutrition side. It's educating them on some of that. And we're able to do that more extensively with our post-grad because we're with them day in and day out on that end. I mean, we want to pass information on to our travel teams, our parents, but that's a little more, they're a little more in and out on times. But yeah, so that's kind of how it slowly grew from there. 2020 was when we launched the post-grad, which was a blessing because it kind of balanced the youth travel ball side of things to the consistency of these guys. You get to know them more, right? Develop relationships with these kids. I think it's been challenging and humbling and exciting all at the same time about you're intersecting a kid that's 17, 18 years old in their life and trying to help guide them the best you can, give them information the best you can, be real with them the best you can, and to hopefully plant seeds that will really grow over time that they can see really mark them like I know the things marked me. So
Right. Very impactful time.
Yeah.
Life and in their career. Is it ever, this is something I've gotten better at throughout my years. Again, I'm coaching exercise and whatever, but I know how I am about things. I know how hard I'm willing to try, the effort that I'm willing to commit. Like, CrossFit's not easy as to playing a sport.
yeah.
Is it ever been a struggle for you because you're like, well, this is what you have to do?
Yeah.
Like you said, being real like that. Like I've struggled at times to separate myself, like just because I'm willing to do this thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone is, but in these walls, like, well, if this is what you want, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I wonder, because I think sometimes athletes might struggle with that. If you're just, save none, head down, nose to the grindstone, I will do whatever it takes to do this, to instill that in somebody else in a productive way.
Yeah, I mean, I have to coach myself consistently because I remember in baseball, I had a hard time sometimes with some of the legends of the game. The further removed they were from the game, the easier it became, right? Yeah. Wow, come on, why don't you just do this? And you're like, but when you're in the throes of it, it's harder than that. It's more complex. I mean, so I've always tried to want to not feel like I can't still empathize with the struggle. Mm-hmm. As much sometimes you're like, no, that's very simple. That's very simple. Just do this. But so I don't know if I fully answered the question that, but I think yeah, I'm more wired like let's just go do it. Let's go figure it out. Like we're gonna,
Just put in the work.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, we have some guys sometimes. I mean, maybe I was psychotic in regards to some pain tolerance that I'd play through that wasn't maybe wasn't smart, but like that's all I knew. It was
Right. Well, that's kind of actually what I was
what I mean? Like,
to a degree. Like we're from a little bit of a different generation. I hate to always lean on that,
Yeah.
but like my wife does the same thing with swimming. Like
Yeah.
it was just brutal. Like the volume that they did training and just how much they worked. And now with my daughters, when they're like, they're tired or they're this, and she's just like,
yeah,
we did 100 hundreds on 97, like whatever it was. Like it was just,
and that balance is hard to strike. Because
right. That's what I struggle.
Some of it's been unhealthy that we,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I think it's really important that you can still open up and go, hey, you can do hard things. And I understand that it stinks.
Yeah.
I understand it's kicking your teeth. And the struggle is real. Like should feel shame for that. Shouldn't be embarrassed by that. On the same side too, we want to create a little bit of toughness that you can actually see yourself working through this mentally and physically being stretched a little more than you thought possible. Because then on the other side of that, I mean, dopamine gets released, you're pumped because you got through something that you didn't think you could. And so and I think in an environment that they know that you care and that you're also pushing them.
Yeah.
Those two matter. If it's just no care, no love behind it,
Right.
it's just
It doesn't land the same on your trust. There's not going to be as much buy-in or trace to the point that you say.
Yeah.
Do you find more enjoyment out of character development or athletic development?
Character, 100%.
I think the answer is that, but I want everyone else to.
Well, just because I appreciate you saying that. I mean, stats are great. Like I know, but that's not.
Like I've spent a lot of time with you,
Yeah.
and I feel like you want to create like great young men
Yeah.
and less like great baseball players.
Yeah. I mean, I think both of the goal and the time period they're here, but like if their character doesn't sustain their ability, then they're not going to play long.
Right.
right? And like if they get to a college program or they get to him, I even say like, hey, let's just get to high school first. If you really, and then you'll really start to see, do I really want to continue doing this or not? But if they have some moxie, they've got some grit to work through, they've got being a great teammate, they know how to, I mean, I think all that stuff plays in every space of our lives. Yeah, looking at it also too, I tell them all the time that a dad with 2 daughters, like the world we live in, like I want them to have strong men with them. And I don't mean strong, we can define that in multiple ways.
No, like mentally, emotionally.
Just, yeah, like, and that can take care of them one day, you know? So
You've mentioned it a couple times. That's something I obviously knew about you already. But how does your faith play a role in how you do things and does it? And I ask that from a place of of being a business owner.
Yeah.
When we have all different types of people that come into our gym, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, whatever the case may be, and trying to find the appropriate balance of like, I'm all for an off-color joke, right? Yeah. There's obviously limits to what you can do. And we've had a couple instances that never became an issue, but people like asking certain things or, never one to shy away from sharing my opinion if asked, but I'm also very mindful of how I present certain things because I don't want to sacrifice my beliefs or my values for my business, but I also am still running a business. So just because I believe something doesn't mean I need to share it. And so I'm curious because I know that's something very strong in your family as a whole is how does that, if at all, play a role in how you do things here or in your business in general?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, I think growing up, it was gratefully learned, mainly from my mom, just kind of faith, God, Jesus, morality type thing. And that was good. And it helped me, shape me in some ways. But then as I start to get older, you start to look at the world, you start to have life experiences, you start to wonder where you're at, what is truth, what is not, you start to ponder this broken world we live in. And it was like, that's when something, shifted in me, and it wasn't something I fully was looking for, from quite honestly, because my life was living totally different opposite. So I say that's because I see people for people. And knowing the bigger story that life was really good at one point and perfect the way it was supposed to be, and something terribly went wrong, and now we find ourselves in that in between. That leaves a bunch of stories and questions and pain and suffering and what does God think about? What does He see about that? How did He form this? How did He shape it to work the best way for human flourishing and for each other to live harmoniously? And so, I'm kind of rambling, but how, to me, it's just how it lived that out in a space to where if it's tight first and not motivated by love, but you actually care. And that doesn't mean that you can't have hard conversations and truth. It just means, man, like I've been a part of a redemption story, so I have nothing to boast in. It's like, look at me, followed, like I'm doing this great. Look at, like, no, like it's really all by grace, and that's the only thing I have every day. Getting up and coming here is only by God's grace, and I think people like experiencing some stories I've seen and happened about that are like, I think people can relate to that make it real. Does that make sense? Not just quote this and quote that, like, and there's no sincerity behind it.
Right. There's not like texture to it or depth. Or,
yeah, because ultimately, the Word of God has the most authority in my life, and so how that manifests in here and comes out is how I want to walk in. Certainly imperfectly all the time, but it's I have to at some point have a spine in my convictions of what I see and believe, and but that needs to be so yeah. I think it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to, because I think nobody cares. Nobody knows how much you know until they know how much. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Right. And so wherever that is, I'm not coming across it unless you know the exercise.
Yeah.
Right. But if you also know and there's intentionality behind your coaching it makes me.
We discussed that before you were up here talking, because today, for a perfect example, is this big group and a lot of people kind of in their own space in the room and doing their own thing. And I said something that I just have to always keep in mind is that, you know, if someone's not paying attention or I've explained something and they're like, it was like in one ear and out the other, I said, none of this is malicious.
Yeah.
These people are all here for this group experience. They're looking to have something positive in their life.
Well, there's connection there. So there's community and connection are hugely God ordained or designed in the fabric of our well-being. And that plays out in so many different ways. And that, because that's what the human heart craves for. And so that's when, I mean, I can tell you, that's why my wife enjoys it. It's a finality. But as much as y'all probably,
that's the
like,
struggle for me is always keeping that in the forefront of like, I told you 3 times what we're supposed to be doing. Like there were 15 other people in here I'm dealing with.
listen, I could
But
probably
just-
say the Jesus got pretty frustrated that cycles quite a bit of times. It's like, hey, then I was worried to go over this, you know?
It's also written in 3 other areas.
Yeah.
It's like what we're doing.
Listen, I try to present information as best I can, but it's just, you know, being mindful and understanding, you know, people aren't being malicious. They're here for the reasons that they're here, and I need to, you know, cater to each one. And actually, I had a strength coach that dropped in one time. He was a football, like, strength and conditioning coach, and we're having a whole conversation. Because a lot of times people in that space, they look at CrossFit and they're like, you just do all this silly random stuff that makes no sense and, like, you know, whatever. And he was right. He's like, I get it, man. He's like, you have customers. I have athletes. I tell someone to do something and they don't do it, I'm going to make them run laps, or they're probably going to sit the bench when we're playing this weekend. He's like, someone complains to you, you have to engage it. You have to maybe not change what you're doing, but you have to, like, it's a different conversation. Like they are athletes to a degree, but at the same time, they're also paying customers. Sure. It's a different experience than, you know, when they're on a team.
So it's kind of,
They get a say to a degree.
yeah, I totally get it because it exposes some of my impatience. And some of the things I'm going, no, I'm being patient. You're just being completely.
No, a very similar struggle. That was my question about some like separation of like, not that I'm any kind of a high level athlete, but I just know like, you know, I did this workout. It took me this long. It's because I worked really hard. Like it got really uncomfortable and I just dealt with it for X amount of time and I finished the workout. So like, if that's the result that you want, this is what you have to do. Like you just have to quit complaining and roll.
Well, because what do we want? We want quick comfort is what we want. That's our natural default human. I can I just scale this to get to it? And I'm not saying there's, I mean, the prime place to scale is something I mean, but like,
no, I understand.
just give me plan B because plan B sounds easier, right?
That's what we talked
and
about.
you're like, no,
That's
plan
exactly
B
what
is the
we
only way
talked
to
about.
do is through it. So
The backup button. That's exactly what I talked about before.
and I think that it's like, hey, you came to us because we want to help you.
Right.
You're paying to come here monthly because you want to enhance your quality of life in the fitness area, right? And that can lead to multiple things. Like,
Absolutely.
then we want the best for you. And trust us with that. We're trying to guide you in this. And you may kick and punch but it's for your good. So choose your heart.
Our little cult, right?
Yes, exactly.
The charismatic leader get you to do weird things and dress a certain ways.
Yeah.
Where do you see this? Do you have like a long-term vision? What is kind of the next step for you? Like you've said, you've had some growth and some evolution, and you know, where do you see yourself kind of going with this, or is that something that you have kind of planned out?
Yeah, no, it's funny you asked that because I have sensed some of those conversations I'm having with myself a little bit. Just kind of it dawned on me recently. I was at a practice with one of our youths or something, and like I said, it's not just me. Like we've got other guys here. Tyler, one of my right hand guys, as far as our general manager, vice president here. Like we've kind of tried to create a ripple effect of investing in other coaches. My point is, when I was at this practice, it was thinking. I wanted to be there, but more so was I thinking, did I need to be there? And I'm looking at there like, I didn't have to be there. You know what I mean? I was like, that's a good thing. I feel like, and not at all to punt on my responsibility. It's just like, because I think that's where it has been challenging at times. We're feeling like I need to juggle all the plates in the air and make it go, and that's just not that's not always been the quality of life in that. So I don't know. I mean, I've kind of had a vision of being able to inherit some property or to have some sort of property where we can really have some things that we need currently as an organization as far as access to fields and being able to, have a facility on site. And there's really some other cool things. Yeah. And there's some other things I really feel like from a player character development that we can intentionally do as far as even like team retreats or stuff like that could be pretty life-giving. But I don't know.
and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Trust me, I have the same, like you're just saying things and I can relate on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
Different, but you're saying like identifying, yourself with the business, and like,
Yeah.
that's something where I deal with that same balance of like, my wife and I, we're the business. I'm the business. I'm the face of it. I'm there more than anybody. And I try to, lead by example and do all these things. But then it's also finding that balance of I'm blessed with having a great group of people around me that are very capable. So it's like, where's the balance of being super relevant because I want to have those connections and those personal things with people where like, I know about them. I know about your family, your wife, your daughters. Like they go to your wife plays tennis on Tuesdays or whatever it is. Like I think that's valuable stuff for me to know. But then balancing that with like, I don't need to be here every day all the time because that's not probably what's best for me or even for other people that are involved. Like just let people that are good at things do them.
Absolutely.
And so I can totally relate. And then also that same thing going forward, like, yeah, we want to own a space that our business is in and we would like to do these other things, but like, there's not like this linear plan for all that stuff. It's like there are ideas that like the slow evolution to them. Like that's always the, like here's the X, that's the goal I want to get to, but I'm not sure which road we're going to take to get there yet.
Yeah.
So I can totally relate to that.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm in a place in my life now. I don't fully have like, and maybe just going through this with baseball and then that kind of coming to an end and then kind of shifting gears, but I don't have necessarily like we need to be at this stage and this thing in 10 years out. We got to do a little rhythm here. Just trying to impact kids, impact families, making a positive experience. Just again, that's just letting how that kind of manifests itself in the relationship to these kids, these families, and making a positive influence on them. Like that's kind of where I'm at, and then we'll just kind of. I don't know. I mean,
I totally understand
that though. I mean, I kind of like not knowing really.
Right. No, I understand what you're saying. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be stagnant and give your.
But it's a very fair question.
Yeah.
I think it is good to kind of say, what's the next 10 years look like?
Right.
But for someone who lets God lead their life, do you want to know? Do you want to have that?
I think that's the best is always in the mystery of some of that.
Yeah.
He said I can point back to times where I'm going, man, I got no way out. Man, not necessarily the bit that and then he's made a way. And so I forget that a lot. Like I can fully understand how you look at people in the scriptures, how they literally would forget 10 minutes before. And I can relate to that. So, that's where, I mean, just letting, he essentially he is the CEO of this, and so I'm just trying to steward it, and he's the gracious when I fumble it, and he'll close the doors or keep them open as long as
But it's time to show you what's.
That doesn't mean that I just get to sit on the couch and eat potato chips and that's not how this works. But you to get that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
And obviously Ben and I know this. We've mentioned you have a couple of little daughters at home, and I hear you're a good cop. If that is that an accurate description of the family?
yeah, I mean, I had to be. I got to be firm. I can be firm. So we're gonna arrest our kids and
How old are your two girls?
9 and 11.
Okay, so 2 years. That's about I have for 15 and 13.
Yeah,
You're
okay. I'm just waiting on it. That's a whole different phase.
It's funny like now knowing your wife for about 4 years and seeing like through social media, like we've been through a lot of those like phases. Like I see your girls at the gym sometimes, and it reminds me of like when my girl was little. What is that like being like the girl dad, like the former professional athlete, like or this like I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there's like a certain, you're again Regis Philbin, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
And now like none of that matters to those two. Like completely.
I dropped Regis Philbin. I was like, there's so many other people I met. Our son, I can just think of his name.
You don't get a lot of Regis Philbin references.
Basically held this.
Yeah.
Basically.
So, but what is that like now? Like almost like I don't want to say humbling yourself, but just
silly
like your kids look at you like you're a superhero to them, but not for the reasons that you might have been for other people.
Yeah, and that's I just feel like I'm 43, and I feel like through my baseball journey, career, marriage, different seasons of our marriage have been hard or good, and peaks and valleys. Like there's just been a ton of ego deaths along the way. So, for example, I mean, this morning before I came to work, like I'm walking our Cavapoo dog that's about this big on a pink leash with a cup of coffee, and she's a female too. And so
man.
it's just where I'm at, you know.
Right. That's why you haven't got.
I love. Yeah. So I think I did inherit. I mean, yeah, I would have loved to have a son, but just that wasn't in the plans. And so I've loved being a girl dad. I couldn't imagine not being that. Yeah, I wouldn't have the jokes that I'm the good. I mean, they've had a way of softening areas of my heart that I would have been no chance without. You know what I mean? Like, and I've inherited a whole facility. Was that?
She probably loves being bad cop too. You know.
Well, I was just gonna say that. Listen, no offense to her, we love her, but I don't think she shies away.
I read between the lines there. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
She's not.
No, she is a just description. Yes. No, she. Yeah. I mean, it's just been. Yeah, there's times that I'm like, no, I'm too much of an easy pushover. I can't do that, you know. So I have to firm up in some areas, but yeah, I'd love to have I mean, I couldn't imagine life in any other way. And I think with the amount of kids we have here and young men we have here, I mean, that's an avenue that I get to. It sounds weird, arena to be in where that there's still you're male to male.
Right, you're impacting hundreds, maybe thousands of young men's lives.
Yeah, that coach that you looked up to. When
Yeah,
you were a kid.
absolutely. Yeah, that's it.
That was your Superman, and so like you're that guy now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're 13, you probably tell me, I mean, 13, 15, Heather's already said, I mean, like, we're going to go through different.
It's different. It is. It's like different
females. These are like things. It's like if that's all happening, it's like.
I feel like we had a phase like about a year or two ago where it just seemed like my daughters and especially my older one and I like could not really connect very well. We've kind of gotten past that now to where it's funny on how it's happened. Like, so we're in my house, I'm bad cop.
Yeah.
My wife, I would say, is more often than not good cop. But I think a big thing that's led to this most recently is so it's funny, she has a boy that she knows from school. In Maribel, where I live, the high school and the junior high are separated different. But 8 and 9 are together, and then 10, 11, and 12 are together. So she has this boy that she talks to, and he's like in 9th grade. She's actually a year ahead of him in school, but knew him from the year before. He plays football. His dad's a pastor. He's not allowed to have a girlfriend. He had to make sure it was okay with me to text her. And what's great, like, marry this kid. Like, I'm all for this boy. He's pretty good too. Apparently, he's already had a couple college conversations to play football. Nice. He was like touring UT recently. But anyways, like, so she's been going to these football games and she's like being a teenager. Yeah. She's a straight A student. She swims 7 practices a week because 2 a days, twice a week, more often than not. And my wife is real hesitant about she seemed very overprotective about these like football games and stuff. And I'm just like, no, I don't care. You need to be a kid. Like, if the football game ends at 10:30, I'll come pick you up. And every time she goes to a football game, my wife makes me leave a half an hour at least before it's over. And I just go stand and either watch the game or I sit in my Jeep or I just go whatever. And I just let her go and be with her friend. And I'm like, I'm okay with this. Like, we've totally changed roles. And normally I'm the overprotective one, like the bad cop. But in this thing, for whatever it is. So my wife grew up an athlete. She had a very specific experience through high school. Mine was very other end of the spectrum. So I'm trying to meet in the middle of like, don't be me. That's not great. But like, let's have fun. Let's be a kid. Like, go out and watch football games and hang out on the field at the end of the game. And so we've actually connected a lot more recently, and then my younger daughter is seeing that and she's like, that's different.
That's different. Yeah.
That, because I'm just like, I mean, what are we gonna do? You know, like she's gonna be in college in a couple years. Like that, maybe it's close to home, but it could be thousands of miles away. So she needs to learn to be independent and all that stuff. So we've just really connected a lot more, both of them, I think, with myself.
That's awesome.
There was a phase about 12 and 14. It was like, where's my son? Where's JJ? Like, me and him were buddies, and I'm like, we can't connect.
Oh, it sounds like you read The Room eventually, where it was like,
not always.
Well, no, I'm not saying it. I just mean like if you felt like you're constantly butting heads. It's like, okay, how do I? Yeah.
And this was just by chance. It was just like I was just oddly okay with like, this is just stuff. Like, you need someone to bring you, I'll bring you. If I have to sit around for 40 minutes and wait for you, I don't care. I'm okay with that. Because
the connection started with that one in regards to being like, Dad's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you said, "Hey, I'm going to peek up 10:30," you were there, and
Right. Yeah. I just
you know,
do
there
whatever.
was a sense of safety there, I guess.
Yeah, and we've always had a pretty close relationship. Like my
Yeah.
wife and I have been pretty fortunate to just spend a lot of times with our kids throughout
Yeah.
the years. So I mean, I was always just, our kids don't really know what it's like for mom and dad to leave the house for 40 hours a week and not be around. They've always been. I mean, we go to the gym on Saturday morning and we're like, "You guys are old enough, you could stay home." They're like, "No, we want to go."
Yeah, that's cool.
So, but to that point, like I remember the 2 and 4, 3 and 5, the princess phase, the just evolution. When we moved here, they were 6 and 8, and just totally uprooting their lives and almost starting all over again for them. And now into teenage girl years, it's a different thing than like I'm even seeing with my son. Like it's just like now he's just an 8-year-old maniac, where he was a 7-year-old maniac, and he was a 6-year-old maniac.
Yeah,
The girls are definitely, it's a different experience.
yeah, yeah.
But
I love it. Well, let me ask you. Let me turn the tables on you, Ben, and ask. We're talking about business. No, what is why you? I mean, outside of the fulfillment of feeling the workout, what makes you love the community or time to CrossFit with that?
Yeah, it's the community for me. I joined because I was just working alone at my house all the time and never, social contact or anything.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I joined. But, I love coming every day and working hard and sweating and
he's a little bit of sadistic. Let's not.
yeah, a little bit of that.
No, it's uncomfortable. The longer, the more challenging something is. Ben starts to gravitate.
I like
towards that. Don't fool yourself. It's all just about us.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I like the pain cave. I like the gratification of knowing I did something hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
How do you find that type of thing now? That's something interesting that I've thought. Because I've experienced it in other ways with different athletes. Like I know it. I've seen it firsthand with my wife. She doesn't want anything to do with water. Like she'll coach swimming, she'll do whatever,
Yeah.
but like she's done like 2 triathlons, and other than that, wants nothing to do with like swimming labs. Like how have you expressed that side of yourself, or is it like the exposure here and all of the hands-on? Do you kind of get that feel of it at this point, or?
No, I mean, a good question. I think it kind of goes back to. I mean, yes, I can get on the field and see the game from a lens and jump right in and feel comfortable coaching and teaching that, and that's great. But I've enjoyed more fulfillment probably from those kids being in the situation and then teaching them a little more something deeper. The character development, the intangibles that I think in leadership and things that you can pass on to the next generation of kids. And so it's hard for me to come here and like work out and then not start cleaning or start getting distracted doing something there, so like I'm still kind of, I mean, I try to work out a few times a week, 2 times a week. I kind of enjoy just going for a run, walk, just moving. I'm not sure this is what you're fully asking, but like you,
No, so it's just that outlet of like you are such a physical person. You played a sport for such a long time. And baseball is like, I mean, I guess you could go play like softball or something, but it's not like this thing where like you're always a runner, so you could just go for a run. Like baseball's very specific to you're probably not going to express it in the exact same way.
No, I mean, I've enjoyed. I mean, it's just hard because it takes too much time. But I mean, golf has always been a fun hobby for me. I have done a little bit of tennis with Heather, and that's kind of transferred into playing a little bit of this men's league this fall. It's kind of fun to get out and just kind of compete. And I do struggle with, like, I'm more now like, okay, give me a workout for 20 minutes, and I want it to be a good workout, but I can find myself less. I don't know how to say it. Like I could not. It has, which is it's her place, so she's like, I mean, she won't let me come.
She will just, so that was actually one of my last questions is, when are you going to come to CrossFit? It just can't regularly be at 8:30.
That's right.
That was
It would be good.
That was the only rule, was it can't always be at 8:30.
Yes, that's what she said. Yeah. I think it's hard. It would be hard for me to get out. I mean, it would be good for me, body wise. I've got a bad knee, left labrum hip tear. So there's some things it's just not fun to try to move through. And like, I don't have a goal of X amount of squat now and things like that. I want to be healthy, try the best I can. And so, but it's good to be in some place that has some structure, and because I'm I'm not gonna do it unless it's old. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
Or you're used to being coached. You're used to having that structure. So,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like if I go down the weight room right now and I don't have some sort of little bit of plan, and even if it's not even that great work, but like I'm gonna wander around and then I'm gonna think, did I do enough? Did I need to do that?
Yeah.
So
Email.
yeah, that's the worst. Yeah.
You know, I might know a place you could, come on by and can work out. We're used to working around injuries and nagging little things. We definitely, make it work. So.
Yeah. I need to do something probably. So
Just might know today Heather's definitely not going. Like when she's going to be the gym teacher or something at that kid's school.
That's right.
Just don't tell her. Just show up.
That's right.
It's like, I went to CrossFit today.
Yeah.
I'm like, you did what?
Yeah.
Haley says hi.
Yeah. That's great. No, that's great.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting. Like I said, it just takes so much dedication, to like be a good high school athlete's one thing, and then collegiate and then pro. Like I just have a lot of respect for the commitment that it takes to do those kind of things. And you said, it's always these like mental challenges and these things to overcome. It's not just the physical part. That's, I think, an under discussed thing. People just see the physical out. They see that. They don't see what actually it takes to go through and do it at that level. So I've always admired athletes, and so it was a really cool story.
Well, thank you.
I just have like one last question I've always kind of ask. If you had a favorite mantra or Bible verse that you kind of tell yourself when.
Yeah, like when the lies can start happening. I don't say that like it sounds very weird, but I think this reality of the life we live in, this body is the truth and lies. And I think for me, one of the verses that really marked me was Galatians 2:20, that I have to remind myself consistently that of course, now that you said on the spot. So that's what's that?
I'm sorry.
I've been crucified. No, you're good. I've been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. So the life I live in the body now, I live for essentially His glory, not my own. And that, to me, that's a reminder, because it's essential. It's the gospel. I mean, it's nothing I did to earn it, nothing I did to perform for it. It's the only place that you don't go in life, that you have to earn your way to it. It's received, and it transforms and changes your life, and that's the power source. And so whenever I find myself operating in my own strength that feels sometimes empty, that verse is one that really marks me when I really started to grab a hold of what this is. This real? First off, is this a bunch of made up stories? And so that verse has always been one that's kind of always anchored my soul, like that. And so I got kind of pushed on the spot, but because it's easy, right? As men, it's easy to let go of my own strength, and
it gives you another reason to keep going too.
Because because I never, 100%. I've been through different seasons. I've been through different seasons of just not being in a good place, and here I am. Yeah, I have faith, but that doesn't. It's not a Captain Hook or whatever. What's her Tinkerbell walking around, sprinkling around? Like, it's real life. Like, this life's hard. Yeah. Life is hard.
Right.
Relationships are hard. Businesses are hard. People are hard. I'm hard. You know what I mean? And so I've found that even in my worldly success with which has been thankful, because it created opportunities for. And God, He knew what He's doing. It was like, I'm going to put you here, and then we're going to have a baseball facility, and then do it to the glory of God. And that's the lens seen through. So that's probably a better way of answering when we first asked that question. But yeah, thanks for asking the question.
Well, thanks for having us come out here, and
Thanks for having us on your podcast, Brett.
having us come here at your awesome location.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. I'd never been, even on this side of town. There's so many places in Knoxville I'd never been.
Hell yeah.
And it's very cool. I saw the guys down there like warming up, and it's so cool that this exists, and that there's opportunities, like you said, just late bloomers or whatever the case may be. Like, you never know who's gonna just pop up out of nowhere and be an all-star someday or something.
Yeah, you never know. But we have a kid our first year that was a raw 17-year-old, athletic ability, but needed more strength and size, and needed to learn the game better, and end up peaking in the spring of that season, and went to Chattanooga State, became all conference there to JUCO, then went to Division I school, and did well there last year. so well that he was in a mid-major so well that then now he's at the University of Kentucky. So playing in the SEC. So that's kind of cool. I mean, there's been countless that we've been really proud of all the guys that have gone on. And I've always said that even if, I'm sorry, it's tricky, Smith. Even if the baseball doesn't completely fulfill you'll play for another 4 years or whatever. I'm hopeful that you'll at least have a life experience here in the 9 months you're here that maybe not now they'll probably understand and realize, but a few years down the road when, I remember why we were doing this and having to stick with that and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. But this is fun. This is a fun break in the routine. So, hopefully,
glad you're not at butcher it.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
So, yeah, keep Heather on schedule. Just tell her to do the workout.
Listen, we do the best. We do the best we can.
Yeah.
There's like a gentle nudge that we try to like.
That's lies to that. Yeah.
We do okay.
Yeah.